Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Season 2, Episode 13 of the Film Room Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Baress, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Joby Fawcett. Joby, how we doing?
Joe, we're doing okay. I don't say always joined by because I missed a couple of episodes due to some unforeseen circumstances, and you have had Scotty Walsh. You do a good job filling in for me. I want to thank him for that. And listen, there was obviously a lot of us in the local sports media were extremely busy this weekend.
Yep.
But nobody logged the kind of weekend Scotty Walsh did.
Oh, no doubt. Exactly.
At really one of the top state championship events held throughout the sports year. So he did a great job covering all of District 2 for what was a very successful performance by all of our local athletes.
Exactly. And we will get to a lot of great performances from last week, but you set it up perfectly, Joby. Cross country, we are joined by Kendel Jones out of Elk Lake cross country. He is our Times-Tribune Athlete of the Week. Kendel, how we doing?
Good.
Hey, thanks for joining us. Just to let people know what Kendel did on Saturday, he finished second in the Class 1A boys race at the PIAA Cross Country Championships, finishing in 16 minutes and 5 seconds. He also led the effort for the Warriors to capture the team title, besting fellow Lackawanna League team, Riverside. Kendel, let me just start with, obviously finishing second is a major accomplishment. What did you think of your performance on Saturday?
I thought that I did well. I kind of felt like that was where I was hoping to be. Yeah, I was definitely excited to also find out about how my team did. So, yeah, I was just really excited for the opportunity and to do one last race for my XC career.
So, Kendel, listen, it was a great performance by you, and I know you've been really committed to this sport for really most of your life here, growing up in a family of distance runners. So, what did it mean to you to, again, get up on the medal stand at the highest level of competition that you can on the state level for a high school distance runner?
It meant a lot to me. It meant like all the work that I'd been doing for my whole career led up to that race. So I was really happy with the outcome. It was a lot. There was a little bit of pressure anyways going in, but I tried to just control and do the best I could, and I was happy with how I came out in the second place. So
absolutely. And you talked about the team's performance, and it goes from you to Cody Adams to Parker Upright to Trevor Upright, and even all the way down to Waylon Kinney to get that title. Talk about the performance of the entire team and what it takes, what it took to get to this point to get this state title for the team.
Yeah, I would say that took a lot of effort. There was not a day that we weren't focused on what we were trying to achieve. I would say that our coaches would always keeping us on task, and we would always try to do the little things that would really impact overall. Like the little things add up. I would say that we really just tried to do the best with our workouts and to just trust all the work that we had been doing all season. Obviously, we were confident coming out of districts with the district championships, so we were just glad to get that, and we were hoping to do the best we could at states, and it turned out the way we were hoping to, so we were thankful for that. And yeah, that's about where I'm at.
Kendel, listen, so this is a great championship tradition that Coach Will Squire, assistant coach Mark Weisgold have built there at Elk Lake, and you and your family in particular have done a great deal to establish this program statewide. How much did the tradition and the pride in that program drive you and your teammates throughout the course of the late summer and throughout the fall?
Yeah, so I would say that was like this goal that we had. We'd been looking at it for a long time now. Like at least the runners that are in my grade, we've been looking at this since freshman year. So we've really just been dialed in, trying to do everything we could to get this accomplishment. It means a lot to not just us as runners, but we're going to remember this for times to come. We'll be able to look back on it and reflect on what we did and what we accomplished. So
sorry to cut you off. Kendel,
no, you're good.
You, Joby as well, kind of mentioned your family, and how much has your family kind of meant to you in this within your athletics career?
My family's they've really worked hard at the sport, especially. They've really put in the time and effort, the miles. So that was really inspiring to me. Just try to do as good as them or better, or try to match them. They set really high marks for me, so that was a good milestone to try to go for. Yeah, I would say that would be the main thing. They really set high marks for me, and I just wanted to do the best I could to try to achieve that.
Kendel, so at Elk Lake, if you can, for our listeners out there, our sports fans, you're really outside of the Scranton area, okay? You're out in Susquehanna County there. What do you do in terms of your mental and physical training outside of what Coach Will Squire maps out for you? And what kind of brings this passion to distance running to you and your teammates out there at Elk Lake?
I just say it's our work ethic, and just our ability to do the best we can. And really, work ethic is the big thing with us at Elk Lake. That's the thing that we're known as, that we have for our sports, is relentless. Like, that we are relentless in what we do and what it means to be a true warrior. So I would say that's what I would reflect on for how we work and how we do all the goals, or try to achieve the goals that we have set out for each other.
Kendel, so do you get up early in the morning? Or when is the best time for you to train for this sport up there in Elk Lake?
In the summer, I would get up in the morning for my miles. I would get up early in the morning and run. That was the best time for me to run, in the morning, just to have it done, so I don't have to think about it all day.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I don't even like to drive as far as you run.
Exactly. I totally agree. Kendel, how did you get started in the sport, and how did you develop a love about it? What do you love about about cross country?
I got started in this sport really because my siblings have always done it. They've set, like I said before, they set really high marks, and it was really inspiring me when I was little, and I was always looking up to them and seeing what they were accomplishing, and it was really inspiring. So I wanted to try to follow in on the legacy. And I would say the best thing about the sport is what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So there's no shortcuts.
Now, Kendel, you're a multi-sport athlete at Elk Lake, and naturally you do the double with the track and field and the distance running, won a couple of state medals already in your career, but I believe you're also a basketball player, right?
Yeah.
So does that give you a nice break away from the mental and physical strain that distance running often puts on your body?
Yeah, I've done basketball since 5th grade, so I really enjoyed that, and I would like to think as that as like my time where I don't have to run, like distance running all the time. It just kind of relieves the stress of it.
Yeah. It's funny, when I used to play basketball in high school, there was one cross country runner who came out for the team in the beginning, and we do conditioning, and he was running circles around us. He was Sean Dempsey, if he's listening to the show. He would be running circles around us because he'd be in top shape with cross country, and all of us basketball players would be, breathing heavy and everything. It was just funny. So talking a little bit about track and field, obviously you have basketball in between. How do you prepare for that season? Do you kind of continue with running during the basketball season, or how do you kind of transition from one to the other?
I kind of like to just really during the basketball season, I kind of like to just maybe not run as much.
Yeah.
We do some conditioning for basketball, but it's just not the same as like distance running. So yeah, I would say I probably kind of take a little bit of a break until track season comes. And I feel like that's served me well. So.
And Kendel, listen, even though you're a distance runner in track and field, you're also, I like to call you a mid-distance sprinter, because you're certainly capable of running the sprints if you had to, and you have always excelled also at the 800. But even though the two sports are similar with the running part of it, they have a lot of differences to them. So what do you find are the biggest challenges and differences between cross-country running and competing in track and field, which you've been a couple of time performer of the year already?
Yeah, so I would say for cross country, I feel like the training is almost more intense. There are more volume. There's a lot more volume to that because you're running more miles at a time. Track and field for me is I'd say that was more intense rather than volume, because cross country, especially the summer, is all about volume, building your base to get where you want to be in the season. But I would say track and field is definitely a lot shorter, like shorter spurts of workouts, not as long.
Absolutely. Kendel, I saw in your Athlete of the Week interview that you are a Golden State Warriors fan. You're also a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, but how'd you become a Warriors fan?
I would say I've always liked the Warriors because I would say since they won in 2015, maybe like 2014, before that, I'd always liked them. I've always liked Steph Curry as a player. So, and when they won in 2015, I just really started following him after that.
So, Kendel, what's next for you in terms of obviously you have basketball coming up. We've talked about that. You have track and field in the spring, but I'm sure you have aspirations to run at a much higher level once you graduate in the spring.
After I graduate, I'm currently not planning on running at college, actually.
Also, this is really going to sum it all up for you, huh?
Yeah. I think that's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, I plan to get my CDL and then work on my family farm.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Awesome. Absolutely. All right. Joby, anything else for Kendel before we let him go?
Well, no, I just want to say, Kendel, listen, you have been, now I'm never going to rank you against your brothers and sisters because that would be silly of me to do, but I've covered all of them, including you. But I can remember Coach Will Squire telling me when you were I want to say we were in 8th grade at the time at the Western Wayne, the Philticelli Junior High Championships. And he said, Joby, you got to keep an eye out on this kid. He's going to be something special. And you certainly have exceeded my expectations. There's no question about that. I knew you were going to be a great distance runner because of your family legacy there. But you've really done your family proud, and you have a lot to be proud of, not just within your family, but certainly in that Elk Lake community because of what you represent, how well you've competed, what a great teammate you are to your fellow members of the team there, and the great legacy that you'll lead as a team being a state champion. So congratulations to everything you've accomplished this fall, and I can't wait to see you in the winter and then again in the spring.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Kendel. Appreciate it. All right. That was Kendel Jones of Elk Lake Cross Country. Joby, as you know, you covered him extensively, track and field. He is, this is an athlete we're going to see for, coming up, obviously basketball season. We're going to see him in track and field season, and you had mentioned it. He's won 4 district titles in cross country. And, now this is just a great way to cap off his cross country career, obviously not just for himself, but for the team.
Yeah, he's a terrific kid. I got a chance, obviously, to get to know him quite well through track and field. I don't do a lot with the cross country. That's Scotty Walsh's realm. But I do follow the distance runners because I like to have at least a little bit of a working knowledge when they come into the track season of where we're headed and who we have to keep an eye on. So he's been a great kid, Joe. I mean, listen, full disclosure here. A couple of years ago, as you know, I had a little health scare and I had to get into the running thing during COVID. And I started, because no gyms were open at the time, I had to log a lot of miles up here in Scott Township. And funny story, Joe, why I stopped was one, it was insane to run as far as I was running at my age. But 2, there was, and I should have asked Kendel about this, but there was a bear in one of the fields along the road that I was running. And my fear was, one, I was a very far distance away from my home. And 2, I really didn't know where I could escape at that point if the bear decided to charge me.
Sure.
And sure. I looked around and I said, if this bear is angry enough, it could be over.
Yes. You're right.
And so that discouraged me from pursuing any more distance running. But I will say that I had gotten to a point where I had actually completed 10 miles on one run around Scott Township here, okay?
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive, and it's also insane. So, and I didn't feel any better after I had done it. In fact, I don't think I've ever felt worse. So I can certainly respect
these
young athletes, all the cross-country runners who, look, if you looked at Scott Walsh's recap and the District 2 results and all the great performances by these athletes, Kendel kind of ho-hum, mild-manneredly says, we log a lot of miles. Yeah, well, that is a lot of miles, and you'd have to have a little bit of a real strong work ethic to pursue a career in cross-country. So all that being said, and me not joking aside, I don't think I would ever get back into it. It's just incredible for them to do the things that they do at the pace that they do.
Right.
The speed and the navigating of the terrain and dealing with the weather. I mean, it's very admirable.
Absolutely. Joby, two quick things here because I know we have a lot to get to, but it's funny. You mentioned the bear story and
Joe, he was big. It was a big bear.
I would be terrified. Yeah, which is it? Is it the black bear that like you're supposed to like lie down, and the brown bear like you're supposed to like get big? I don't know.
Joe, I'm not really sure what the protocol is.
Right.
I just remembered that Leonardo DiCaprio took a beating in a movie.
Oh yes.
And I didn't want that to happen to me.
That is fair.
Okay.
So
all I could think about is I was running away from my home. Keep in mind that we're very far away from my home.
Absolutely. So me and my friend years back, we used to, obviously, we work late at this job and early, but that's besides the point. So we would go for walks after work because we both got out of work late, and obviously it would be dark, and I remember we saw these colored eyes off in the distance, and I was just like, is that what animal is that? And I'm just like, is it a bear? He's just like, well, I don't know. It's not a fiery orange. It's just regular orange. I'm just like, okay, well, great. I'm going to trust your fiery orange theory about this potential bear off in the distance. And it's funny that you say about the logging the miles. The person I'm talking about is Jeremy Evans. You might remember him from back in the day, track and field, but we'll joke to him. It's just like, when we see him out, just like, hey, how many miles you run? Like a soft 12 today? And and he'll be like, yeah. it's just funny the miles that these, little runners just log as if it's nothing. But anyway, that's my 2 cents. But Joey, we have a lot to get to today, and there were some phenomenal performances. Again, I want to mention, I feel like we often take people a little bit behind the scenes of Athlete of the Week, and again, Cara Evans captures the state title.
She can't be Athlete of the Week again, Joe.
Can't be Athlete of the Week, exactly. You can only get it once a year. We also had a big debate, with Lily Lengyel and Emma Cuck also capturing a doubles state title, of who to give it to. And, it's, we really take the time to think about who the Athlete of the Week is, Joby. It's, it's a serious matter for us, but I do want to bring up, and I'll let you talk about it because you've covered them, but what a great way to end the tennis season with Cara Evans capturing that state title and Lily Lengyel and Emma Cuck capturing the doubles title in an absolutely dominant way. The state in 2A was ruled by Lackawanna Leaguers.
Yeah, Joe. So we start with Scranton Prep winning the team title for a second time in 3 years. Okay. And then, I had a feeling. I don't want to give myself too much credit because obviously I'm just covering the sport. Okay. But I had a feeling when the season started, based on the fact that Alana Rosenthal had won the last 3 2A singles titles in Hershey, and her closest match in the last 2 anyway, was against Cara Evans.
Right.
Okay. So having a fair understanding of what's going on across the state, I do, of course, follow tennisrecruiting.net, which, people who are listening to this podcast are going to be stunned to know that I'm a subscriber. And so I did do some scouting and I did do some, checking in. So I really, really, without jinxing her, of course, I really had a strong feeling that she was going to be at the very least in the final. I saw nobody that could beat her, in her half of the bracket. And she certainly persevered in the final. It was a 3-set match. The only other 3-set match she's had all season was against Lily Lengyel. So, that tells you a little bit about how talented a player Lily is as well. And Cara won the singles championship. I was very happy for her. Now, that match, Joe, again, you have to remember, I was off on Saturday.
Yes.
I know, we're going behind the curtain here, but so I was following it, and the Scranton Prep doubles team of Lily Lengyel and Emma Cuck had won the doubles championship. Again, something that I really felt strongly they were going to do, barring some sort of a, injury or something, because they were the top 2 singles players for Scranton Prep all year, and they won the state team championship. So you're going to be hard pressed to get 2 better players than them in 2A. And I know this is sometimes a point that nobody wants to listen to me. It is a different game to play doubles.
Absolutely.
Especially for singles players who, are very court savvy. They know how to cover the court. They react differently to different shots. And so it does take some time to get the synchronization down. But these 2 players are just so talented. And they dominated. I mean, they didn't have a match that was really, really one where they had to sweat it out. Now, I'm sure that they did. They'll tell you differently, I'm sure, if we talk to them. But they were impressive as well. And, Joe, I have to say, as the high school girls tennis writer, and I have been for 20 years, we've had some great tennis players. We really have. I've been very lucky. We had Carissa Gigerelli win a state championship during my stay here. Now we've won 2 team championships with Scranton Prep, and now this year making it a clean sweep. I mean, the singles and the doubles title as well. What a great credit to the time that these tennis players are putting in to being the best at what they do. And, I can't thank them enough for look, it's a lot of work. for me, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it for them. I can remember, Joe, and I'll turn it back over to you here, is that in summer, okay? As you know, I do the tour around the camps, right?
Yep.
The football camps. So for the most part, my day is really logged and filled out. My calendar's all filled out. But I had built in a little extra time for the first day of official fall sports practice. You may remember this. And I snuck out to Scranton Prep's tryout practice. Okay. Now, look, of course, Lily, Lengyel, and Emma Cuck are going to make the team. So there was really no pressure there. But, some other girls are trying out or whatever. But Coach Kendra Croker allowed me to come and watch the practice and shoot some video and interview the two girls. And you just got that feeling and that sense that this was going to be a special year for both of those players. And it really was. And I would argue, Joe, that if Lily or Emma were allowed to compete in the singles tournament, outside of Cara Evans, who ended both of their seasons in the singles District 2 singles tournament, I would tell you that I would think that they both could get to the quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And one or the other get to the semifinals based on their draw.
Right.
So they're that good. So they're that talented players. So great year for District 2 tennis, no doubt about it.
Absolutely. And again, just a phenomenal week for for our athletes in tennis and all around, which I will get to in a second. Joby, I need to inform you of some information that I received this morning. And do you know how many stories you wrote in October? I'm sure you don't want to know.
Joe, I probably do know because I received the same message that you probably did.
Yeah. 101.
I do know that information. It's a big number.
101.
Yeah, well, and I'm about to do 10 in the next 2 days. So anyway, Joe, let's
So here's why I'm leading off with this. Here's what I want to say. Just a phenomenal job by everyone this weekend. Tom Fox, Scotty Walsh, covering.
Evie Bennett was out of the field hockey, Joe.
Steve Bennett.
You're out there with your European football and your American football. How you're keeping track of all that stuff?
It's been tough, but yeah, just everyone doing what they need to do, working long hours. I absolutely very much appreciate it. I was in the Crestwood parking lot getting the paper in so that I can go and watch the Abington Crestwood girls soccer match, get that done. Before that, Scotty helped me proof a couple pages out in Hershey so that we could get that done. And I bolted to the field, where I got to the field just in time for the start of that game. So,
and Joe, don't forget, midweek we had to juggle and do some things with volleyball and soccer coverage and early football coverage.
Yep.
In the week, it was definitely a daunting week.
Absolutely.
Joe, after I took a deep breath yesterday, I put together some football notes and I got started on the week ahead because, there is somewhat of a little bit of an exhale.
Yes.
When the girls' tennis season ended for me on Saturday. One, you can't end much better than that.
No.
But you kind of do say, okay, now that's going to be on the back burner for a little while I focus my attention a little bit on volleyball, and I really am now engaged in football and the postseason. But we still have a lot ahead of us. But last week was a real struggle, and it was a struggle worth having because of the great performance of all of our athletes.
That's exactly right, Joby. I couldn't have put it better myself. But I am going to lead with,
Joe, you still have a lot on your plate, but I hate to tell you, I know.
I've got some more soccer. Yeah. And listen, both these Abington teams are really, really good, Joby. So I want to start with the girls soccer, Abington Heights. This is a team that, ends up losing in the semifinals of the districts last year after making it to the state final 2 years ago. And you could tell right from the start of this postseason, this team was on a mission, Joby. They had a great year, but there is no doubt that they took it to another level as far as their energy, their mindset. They're stepping up at the right point in the season. And a funny story. I believe it was Wednesday. I covered the Holy Redeemer Blue Ridge girls soccer Class 1A title game at 3:30. And I'm just like, all right, I got to figure out a way to get from here for the start of the semifinal between Abington Heights and Valley View at 6:00, which is, as you know, an impossibility. But I'm just like, okay, well, I'll miss some of the game, the beginning of the game, but I should get there, at least at the beginning of the first half. And so I'm driving, and first of all, great season by the Blue Ridge girls soccer team, making that final, upsetting Montrose. They got beat by Holy Redeemer, just an excellent team with just some great precision passing, and they just kind of overwhelmed Blue Ridge. But congratulations to Blue Ridge on a great season for them. Now, so I leave there, and I'm about 10 minutes away from Abington, and I get a text from photographer Rebecca Partica, and she texts me, Abington's leading 3-0 5 minutes into the game. And I said, what? And yeah, I get there, and I get to the press box, and Becky Davis is there, lacrosse coach and assistant AD, gives me a badge, and I say, who scored the goal? Who scored the goals? And collectively, everyone in the press box said, Lilia. And I said, oh, stupid question. And I ran down to the field. She had a hat trick in a matter of 5 minutes against a very, very good Valley View team with a phenomenal goalkeeper in Amelia Rux. It was, they end up winning that game 6-0. Allison Stanton's able to get 2 goals, and Lilia Calvert ends it with pretty much a length of the field steal, weave through 4 defenders, and kick it past Rux to make it 6-0. And that was the semifinal game. And I talked to her after, and Lilia says, I want to bring more to the championship game. And, she scored 4 goals and had an assist against Valley View. So, it's just like, sure you say that, but Lilia ends up delivering in the championship game, 6 goals, matching her career high in a game I believe she set in her sophomore season, and 2 assists. There were 8 goals, and she had a hand in every single one of them. It was one of the greatest performances I've ever seen by an athlete. And Kevin Carroll of the Times Leader, good guy, he comes down to get quotes later on, and he says, I had never seen her play, and she's unbelievable. If you haven't seen her, obviously you're running out of time and you'll have to travel now, but Lilia Calvert is worth the price of admission. She's an incredible, incredible player. I know I've said it time and time again, but she just, does something that you've never seen before each time you go. To speak to the team as well, they've been absolutely excellent all season. Outscored their opponents in this postseason 24-6, and they beat Crestwood 8-4. And Joby, listen, Valley View and Crestwood are 2 of the best teams in the area. They beat the best teams And, Crestwood's got some great players. Jordan Andrews, Kira Doherty had a great game, actually, scoring 2 goals and dishing out an assist. But Abington, just their passing is just incredible, on point. They're playing the midfield. Obviously, they've played better defense in other games. They're excellent defensively. I know they gave up 4 goals in the final, but that was just a different game. It was very physical. You could tell that, it lived up to the price of admission. And Abington's on a mission, and they are good from top to bottom. Allie Rothenberger had a great game, great passes. Holly Lynett had a great game. Allison Stanton brings it every game. They just have a great team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they made a little bit of a run here in states. So
that's not a bold statement by you, by the way, Joe.
Right, exactly. Like they're just good, man. And going over the boys again, this Abington team, it's interesting how these teams kind of mirrored each other in the fact that Abington Heights lost to Dallas in the District 2 final last year. Dallas ends up advancing to the state semis. And, Abington comes out and just absolutely takes control early. Lucas Samala with a very nice goal to get them started, kicking it past their keeper on the short side. And they just went from there. And let me tell you, Joby, it was pouring, as you know, that evening.
Yes, Joe, I do.
As you're aware, because you were out in it too. I had my little umbrella, and I was out there, and it was just, the more the rain came, the better Abington played. And they're a great team too, top to bottom, defensively, offensively. Joey Pivorato, great striker for them. Nico Bustos really does everything for that team, whatever they need. There's a reason he was Times-Tribune Player of the Year last year. So this is another great team. And yeah, we'll see. Hey, if Dallas made the state semis last year, this Abington Heights team is very, very good. So we'll see. But yeah, there's some great soccer, Joby. There's some great soccer.
Yeah, so I think you're gonna have a very long postseason here. There's no question about that.
Bring it on. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Bring it on. Absolutely. So
and you've done a very good job, Joe, of trying to balance it all. It's not easy. And again, for people who don't understand, you can't be everywhere.
Right.
We try.
Right. Exactly.
I know people have watched the Star Trek movies and think we can just beam ourselves to various locations, but that's just not possible.
Exactly. So, I wish I could have done that on Wednesday, but yeah, no, was at Mountain View on Friday before all the football got started. It was raining sideways there too, but Wyoming Seminary wins that game 2-0. Great year by Mountain View, winning the division title. Obviously fell short in that game, but shouldn't take away from how they played. Wyoming area wins the girls 2A title. They've been a great team all year, and they beat a great Mid-Valley team. As I mentioned, Holy Redeemer in Class 1A, Williamsport in Class 4A. So 1A Wyoming Seminary and the boys, Lake Lehman Class 2A champs, Abington Heights 3A, and Wyoming Valley West in 4A. That gets started tomorrow. I will be at Abington Heights. They're hosting Selinsgrove, the boys, that is. But Joby, it's a jam-packed day tomorrow.
Yeah, Joe, I had to log a few hours this morning to get the volleyball taken care of.
Yeah.
We have 4 teams playing tomorrow.
Yep.
Joe. Various locations, Holy Redeemers at home. And look, as you said, last week was an extremely exciting week.
Yes.
I caught the doubleheader at North Pocono on Wednesday, where Delaware Valley won the sub-regional final against Williamsport 3-1 after losing the first set. So a terrific performance by Delaware Valley, and I want to congratulate Coach Carly May, because listen, Joe, this Delaware Valley program has dominated the biggest classification that it could compete in for the last 16 years, 16-time District 2 champion, okay? And last year that they lost, to Williamsport in the sub-regional final. And if you don't win that match, you don't get to go to states. So this was a great bounce back year for Delaware Valley. And I do believe that the program is a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
In terms of the talent, it's a very young team. So congratulations to her. And she's also had a tough year. Her niece passed away earlier this fall. They had a nice fundraiser for her. And so it's really nice when you see someone succeed. And she was a terrific player too, by the way, at Delaware Valley, Joe. So,
Yeah.
and I got to know her a little bit there. And I will say this, Joe, the volleyball coaches and my girls tennis coaches, and really a lot of the coaches for the most part, have really kind of embraced us as sports writers because they've helped us out a great deal in getting us the results we need or the background that we need.
Yeah.
Or the photos that we need in a moment's notice. Okay, so she's done a real good job with that, especially being out in Delaware Valley. And Mountain View won the Class 1A title 3-0 over MY Prep. We're all familiar with Addison Kilmer's work. Okay, Joe.
Yep.
You know, she was our Times-Tribune Female Athlete of the Year last year with good reason, but she, you know, clearly is more recognized for her excellence on the basketball court. But one of the reasons why she was our Female Athlete of the Year last year was her excellence on the volleyball court as well, which happens to be the same court. Okay, they just played.
Good point, Joby.
Yeah. So maybe it's just a familiarity with the terrain. I don't know. But anyway, she had another terrific game, and I will say that for the most part this year, she's done a great job with an extremely young and up and coming team under the guidance of Coach Bridget Evans, who's in her first year. She was an assistant last year to Dave Brees when they won the district championship for the first time in a couple of decades. So Mountain View's in action tomorrow, Tuesday. We're recording this on Monday, aren't we, Joe?
You got it. It is Monday, right?
Yeah, I know. Listen, it's all blended together these days, Joe.
It has. Seriously.
But Berwick ended Abington Heights' undefeated season, and Berwick's got a terrific program there. Won a second straight District 2 Class 3A championship, and then Holy Redeemer, the perennial champion in Class 2A. Seems like every year that program wins that championship. They'll both be in action tomorrow as well. I wasn't able to see that doubleheader because of the Eastern Conference football game up in Wallenpaupack. And many thanks to Tom Fox for picking that up for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was one of those days. I was at a soccer match. Tom was at the volleyball doubleheader. You were in Wallenpaupack, and Steve Bennett was at Lake Lehman for soccer. So that's how it goes.
Well, that Eastern Conference playoff game. Listen to me. You know, this, believe it or not, after week 8 has been a very difficult football season weather-wise. Mm-hmm. You would agree with that, right?
Oh yeah.
I thought the weather was great for the first 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we've fallen off a cliff.
Yeah. You're not kidding.
So I go to Wallenpaupack and I check the radar. Okay. And by all indications, the rain was going to hold off until around 10 o'clock. Okay. We were starting at 6 o'clock for the game.
Right.
So I said, you know what? A slight drizzle's not going to hamper me too bad. I can handle the game from the sideline because I really want to get video. That's
right.
It's one of the goals here now is to get video. And I get down there and I'm, chatting with the Honesdale staff. Coach George Juan and I go back a long way. So the game kicks off and again, it's just a very light drizzle. There's not anything overly frightening or so it's 7-0 Wallenpaupack. Honesdale comes down and they go in for their first touchdown. Okay. I have my pen to paper. I'm writing the information and it was like somebody took a giant bucket and dumped it over my head. Honest to God, Joe, it resembled the scene from the movie All the Right Moves. Now that movie may be too old for some of our listeners, but go back and watch it. It just was a downpour of epic proportions. I was looking for an arc or any way to get off the floor. But I thought at this point, I can't do anything now. My tablet, it's completely drenched. Yeah. I'm soaked. And I just threw in the towel and said, listen, I'm not going to be able to take stats. I'm going to do the best I can.
Right.
Charting what I do know, what I can do on my phone. And, I got home, I got a little water under the screen protector, and everything was malfunctioning at that point. So my phone is not been the same, but it was awful. But the funniest thing about it was I'm talking with Wallen Paulpack Athletic Director Travis E., and he says, there were some people wondering if we were going to postpone, but if we did, we would have had to move it to Saturday. And, Penn State's playing Ohio State on Saturday, and it just wasn't going to be. I said, Travis, you have an all-weather surface here. You may as well play.
That's right.
Why else would you put the turf in if you're not going to play in the rain? And the kids enjoyed it. They had fun. Yep. It was a great game, and I felt good for Wallen Paulpack. They've had a little bit of bad luck late in the season here with some tight games where they lost, and they were able to come away with an Eastern Conference win and get presented a trophy after that. So it was certainly difficult to navigate through that weather, Joe.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, that's where I was luckier. Full disclosure, so I could take video. I don't take active stats. I mean, I'll mark down the goals, I'll mark down the times. I'm not taking shots, I'm not taking corners, and I count on the scorekeepers to do that. I'll just take a picture of the book so I could get the video. But yeah, when it's football, you're taking stats. So it adds an extra wrinkle. But speaking of football, Joby, we do have a lot of district title games on Friday.
Don't decide what game you're going to go see Friday.
I would like to go to Delaware Valley, Abington, and I think that's where I will end up.
Okay.
You going to Dallas North Pocono?
That's what it looks like right now. North Pocono's 11-0. It'll be a historic win for the program. It's been a terrific story.
Yeah.
North Pocono. And here's the thing, Dallas, don't be deceived by this 15-5 record. Dallas is very tough first 5 weeks of the season, first 6 weeks, 1-5. Okay. But this is a proud program that's been to a couple of state finals in the last 10 years.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be a pretty good football game. And they played earlier in the year. North Pocono won that one 35-14. I'm looking forward to it. I think that's where I'm headed.
Yeah, Joby, and I think we discussed it last week too, but Dallas is usually playing the best at the end of the season. Much like we talk about, like a program like Delaware Valley around here, they start, I don't want to say start slow. They play great competition, and then they're playing the best at the end of the year. So that should be interesting. I do want to bring up from last week. I thought Scranton Prep's win while I wasn't there. Scranton Prep's 42-0 win over Wyoming area was surprising. I wasn't surprised Prep won. I was surprised they won by 42. So that
Joe, I told anybody who would listen to me, don't sleep on Scranton Prep in the postseason. No. Okay, it's going to be a terrific final as well.
Yeah, they're Berwick.
Berwick 11-0, having an amazing season. Tamir Wilkerson, what can you say about a kid who's going for 2,700 yards in 11 games?
Exactly. Exactly.
So that should be a great game. But again, Joe, that's the one thing, if you remember back when the big controversy was that the Class 3A field was reducing from 8 to 4.
Yep.
It didn't really bother me that much because I thought Scranton Prep was going to get in. But if Scranton Prep ever stumbled at the end of the year, which it certainly could have against the quality competition of Jersey Shore and North Pocono, remember, if Scranton Prep lost the combination of both of those games,
right,
Scranton Prep would have been on the outside looking in.
Right.
And here you are, they're playing the number 2 seed on the road, and Scranton Prep wins 42-0. So at least it worked out. The Scranton Prep got in because it is a very good football team, and they showed that on Friday.
Absolutely. Joby, you were at the Dunmore Riverside semifinal. Dunmore able to advance, and they will play Lakeland in another rematch in the championship game. Always great when these two teams get together at the highest stakes. Anything you want to say about that game?
Well, Joe, here's the thing. I think Dunmore played a terrific football game, on Friday. Again, the weather, it was the gale force winds made things extremely difficult to throw the football, to say the least.
Yep.
And Dunmore's got a much better ground attack than Riverside does. I mean, you just look at the stats throughout the year.
Right.
Dunmore's strength has been its running game, and that certainly played out. I thought Dunmore's defense was outstanding. Now, you saw the first version of this game
Yes.
in week 1, and I think the numbers probably lean more toward Dunmore winning that game.
Absolutely.
But Riverside gutted it out, had a big kickoff return for a touchdown, and came away with a 17-14 win in overtime. That really fueled Dunmore in this game.
Yeah.
And look, Dunmore lost to Lakeland in the regular season, so I still think that they have a lot to play for in this championship game on the road at Lakeland. I think that's going to be one of our better games this weekend as well. The one thing I will say, Joe, and without insulting too many people, and I don't know when or how or if I want to address it in print, but the game did not have a playoff atmosphere around it. I think Lackawanna Trail took a lot out of the Riverside Sails in week 10.
Yeah.
And I think that filtered over into the fan base.
Yeah.
Stadium was not full.
Wow.
That'd be me generously saying it was not full.
Right.
Now, it was Halloween, and
Sure.
I know how people like to get out and trick-or-treating.
Sure.
But it was surprising to me that there weren't more people at that game, given the rivalry between the two programs. But anyway, I digress. I'm looking forward to championship weekend for sure.
Yeah, it should be great. And, obviously Delaware Valley eking one out against Pittston area, a very good Pittston area team.
So that didn't surprise me that was a tight game. Now,
No.
The score.
That's what surprised me. Yes.
Surprised me.
Yeah.
I think that's a real credit to Pittston area defensively as well. Delaware Valley is averaging somewhere in the neighborhood of 38 points a game this year.
Right. Exactly. And, obviously great first season from Paul Russick up there at Pittston area. Absolutely. Yeah. You're darn right.
He's a big supporter of the podcast.
That's fantastic to hear. That's great. All right. I'll compliment him every episode.
Paul Russick is a big media guy. He enjoys coverage. He goes out of his way to help me out now. Certainly he did when he was at Holmesdale, and even more so now he helps me out with Pittston area stuff. So a real credit to Paul Russick. He's a friend of mine.
That's great. So yeah, Delaware Valley going up against Abington Heights. Abington Heights with obviously their star quarterback back. He's played a couple games now.
Oh, they were able to squeeze that story out last week.
Yeah, how about that? Exactly.
Small window.
Exactly. You're darn right. Exactly. So that's going to be a fun one.
Joe, I apologize.
Oh, listen, no need to apologize. But yeah, my only concern, I think it should be a great game, Joby, and I'm excited for it. My concern is the wind.
Yeah, again, you're going to be up on that mountain.
Right.
And look, the first time they played, Joe, it was a terrific game. It was 21-14. Abington Heights had come back. Noah Kale was the quarterback and replacing Nick Bradley. He had a terrific game. And Mike Uzzolino returned a kickoff for a touchdown, and it was 28-14. And again, you know what a kickoff return does to you, kind of really hit you in the gut punch.
Absolutely.
Especially after you kind of fought your way back within striking distance. But it was a really well-played game. And last year, Abington Heights beat Delaware Valley in the final.
Right.
And Nick Bradley sat out for a lot of the fourth quarter. So it's going to be a good game. They're two terrific and well-coached football teams. They really are. And Joe, since you have put your stamp on it, I think you're going to enjoy it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
as they like to say, Joe, don't muck it up.
Yeah. I'll do my best. Do my best not to. So I think that just about wraps us up, Joby. I've stalled long enough that we don't have to talk about the Packers at all. But yeah.
Joe, you talked about the Packers. You don't have to wallow in the fact that Penn State lost to Ohio State.
That's right.
Now just puts more pressure on Michigan to try to pull off yet another victory.
Absolutely.
In the rivalry game. So it was a busy weekend for everybody, Joe, and we managed to get it all covered somehow, some way. And we're going to continue to keep fighting, Joe.
Absolutely. We'll keep fighting. We'll keep.
As long as I don't need a couple of hours away from the computer, Joe.
True.
It should be okay.
Exactly. So
last week when I needed more than a couple hours, but that's what I got.
Exactly, Joby. Seriously. But so that will cap off our show.
So before I let you go, I have to tell you, I did compliment you, and I sent you a little message.
Yes.
Today while you and I were bickering, like Oscar and Felix from The Odd Couple. Your story was excellent. Your coverage of the Abington Heights soccer was excellent. Was well done.
Thank you, Joby. I really appreciate that.
Anybody to go back and read it. It was really an outstanding story.
I really, really appreciate that, Joby. You could see that. You could see Joby's 101 stories in October.
That's Dalmatians, Joe.
Yeah. Yeah. Next month, go for 102, but don't.
What was the sequel? What was the name of the sequel?
It was 102 Dalmatians.
See what we can do.
Exactly. So thank you, Joby. Thanks to Kendel Jones, our Times-Tribune Athlete of the Week, for joining us at the top of the show. Be sure to follow us online, thetimes-tribune.com/sports. Pick up Game Face this weekend. We'll have our district championship edition. Big day tomorrow with state playoff games in soccer and volleyball and field hockey. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at SportsTT. On X at SportsTT. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Me and Joby are sharing those highlight videos. Times-Tribune Sports on Instagram and Facebook. Follow Joby's Facebook page, Joby Fawcett, the Times-Tribune. And get ready for another big week. We're certainly excited.